truly the sign of the times. We're not trying to fearmonger. We're just trying to bring you the information, and the doctor's trying to give you her layman's terms of this scientific information, because not all of us are scientists. Not all of us are physicists and understand this information. And sometimes you need somebody to break it down and tell you what's happening. I think she does a fantastic job at doing this.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. So, in the course of the next couple of days, we're going to be paying very, very close attention to what's happening. Again, not all of us are these are NASA and NOAA models, and sometimes so you need somebody to break it down. There is a little plus or minus what's happening. I think she does a fantastic with these models at doing this. So we're going to keep a very, very close eye on it. You're welcome. So, but in the course of these next couple of days, we're going to be, there is a very, very, very high chance to what's happening. This solar disruption, these creating major disruptions on this planet. And forget about losing internet service and, the radio outages. I think we have to seriously worry about the earthquake and volcanic activity. And Doctor, you want to speak a little bit about this this ionosphere, because this is to me, this is a big concern, what's happening there.
Yes, I think we saw the lightning, high altitude lightning last night, and that to me tells me that the charges, the electric currents in the ionosphere, in the higher parts of our atmosphere, is increasing, and that leads to lightning. I mean, you get lightning because these are basically the Earth is trying to, it gets to such a high level that it tries to equalize with other points. So this is basically a discharge between points where the electric potential is extremely high to points where it is lower. And therefore we would get lightning between different points in the atmosphere. But the lightning was so intense and so colorful that it even surprised me. I had never seen anything like it. And to me, that's the sign that our ionosphere is getting more and more ionized. And don't forget that we've seen signs of this happening with other planets. Venus, for example, its ionosphere became extremely bright because of just this. Obviously, that's where the kind of light that we've seen coming from Venus came from. And so now we see it happening with our own planet. And this will cause major disruptions, because these discharges, these currents induce other currents. I've talked about this so many times. It induces currents in lower down in the atmosphere where cloud formation occurs. This leads to increased cloud formation at lower altitudes. And then it leads to currents wherever we have wiring on the surface, so that can impact our power lines and our transformers, the power grid. But most of all, it impacts what's happening inside the Earth. So we are going to get currents in the outer core, which is liquid, basically liquid iron, and increased currents heat up the outer core of the Earth, and then it heats up the magma above that. In the mantle, it leads to magma flows, increased magma flows in the mantle and the crust. That places a lot of pressure on the crust. And then we start seeing earthquakes happening at the fault lines. And basically, this is why we have so many earthquakes. If you compare the number of earthquakes we have now happening every day or weekly with what we were having, say, 10 years ago, then you will see that it has increased significantly. And this is because of what's happening with our our ionosphere. And it's all due to the increased number of ionized particles impacting the Earth. We were impacted by protons today. These are ionized particles. These are basically hydrogen nuclei that come from the sun, and they travel at high speed. They come right through, they ionize our ionosphere. But we're getting particles and from not just the sun, from these other objects. And I think this is what's causing these effects.
You know, last night I was outside. I was kind of late, you know, just checking out the sky, and I started seeing these flashes coming through my office window.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't remember, you know, I watched the weather report, and I don't remember hearing about any storms coming in, nothing like that. So I stepped out back, and the sky was a deep charcoal gray. You know, it wasn't even black.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a deep charcoal gray with this pink magenta tone mixed in with it right above the horizon.
Yes.
And I was wondering where this light was coming from. And as I stepped out there, I was watching these array of just this lightning stretching across the sky horizontally from one end to the other. And this went on for, well, probably about an hour to an hour and a half. And, you know, I kept going out there and I kept looking at this, and I'm like, wow, this is really crazy looking, with the color of the nighttime sky, you know, the magenta pink right over the horizon, and then these streaks of purple lightning, but there were very few clouds in the sky.
Mm.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what is what is happening right now? You know, I tried to catch some of it on camera, on video, but it just wouldn't come out. But it was pretty wild to see that. And that's kind of I think, you know, that's the first time I've ever seen something like that.
Yes.
You know, so it kind of makes you wonder more and more what we're in store for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be out every night. I'm going to be out every night checking it out, trying to observe this. And, well, you know, let's just hope everything works out, folks. It does look like we're going to be in for some trying times here over the next couple of days. The Earth's not going to be destroyed. And, you know, we're just looking at some serious situations here, I think, with some earthquake activity coming up, some volcanic activity.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in the days, in the weeks, in the months to come, I believe that we are going to be looking at more intense times. There's no doubt about that. But anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream. And the doctor is going to be back later on. She has a report that she wants to talk about the large iceberg that broke off in the Antarctic. Kind of an unusual situation. You know, I did a report on this ice shelf, months and months ago, when they were talking about evacuating some of these scientists that are down there building their new colonies for the New World Order.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think, you know, and the doctor has done a really good report on this, and we're going to talk about it because it is kind of unusual. Yes. Because they are in the dead of their winter time. Am I correct, Doc, here? That is kind of unusual.
That's absolutely correct. So it was strange that it broke off so quickly at this time. I know it had been breaking off for quite a while. It had been breaking off. I think they noticed it was breaking off first in 2010. But all of this, I think, is due to our planet warming up and the oceans warming up from the bottom and so on. And yeah. Another one broke off earlier. I think it was in a few years ago. It was B15, but that one broke off in spring. So it was strange that this one happened in winter.
Yeah, they say it's the size of the country of Luxembourg.
Yeah, that's right. It's huge.
Even though that's a small country. You know, I mean, something that size. I mean, I don't think it's going to create any type of a situation anytime soon.
Yeah.
But when, you know, when an ice shelf does break off the size of Luxembourg
Yes.
into the ocean, I guess it is something to talk about. Very, very strange. You know, Doctor, there somebody in the chat had made a comment that there's nothing to worry about. The only thing, what the hell did they say? Something pretty stupid. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a sunburn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? Maybe this person should go stand on top of one of those volcanoes and see how intense that sunburn gets.
Yes, well, the sunburn is definitely happening because our ozone layer is getting depleted. And well, geoengineering has something to do with that. And indirectly, the fact that we have these objects in the solar system has a lot to do with that, because they're using geoengineering to hide these objects from the Earth population.
Oh, we have an invitation up there to Toronto by Bomb 1977. Absolutely. You could take me out for dinner. How about that? Me and the doctor. Yeah, we'll take you out. Hey, listen, you know, the doctor's already completed 5 chapters in her book. She's shooting for 10 chapters in this first book that she's writing. And this is going to be about the beginning of her experience. And it's going to be very, very interesting. And as soon as she is finished and we get this thing published, and we're going to be doing this very, very rapidly through Amazon. We're not going through no New York City, Manhattan publishers that will drag this thing out for a long period of time. We want this information out there ASAP. It will be available for download as an ebook, and it's going to be full of illustrations and pictures and documentation. And I can't wait till she's finished with it so I can proofread the whole thing and enjoy it myself. But as soon as that book is done, as soon as it is done, we're going to be moving forward, straight forward into the public speaking engagements, because folks, the bottom line is we're being censored by YouTube. There's just no doubt about it.
Yes.
No doubt about it. I had an independent auditing service, a media company. It cost me quite a bit of money for them to audit my YouTube channel with the analytics that comes with your channel, all kinds of stats and statistics. The fact of the matter is, I also have a website. All of the videos are on my website. Every single video that is made is on my website. So when someone clicks on the video on my website, it tells me about it. It gives me the stats. Well, this has been going on since March, and I don't understand how someone could click on a YouTube video that's linked directly to YouTube, and the video is being played on YouTube. It's not being played on my website. They're using a link. And I'm registering 1.2 million views on my website for Planet X News. And YouTube is saying that, you know, there is only 675,000. How's that possible? Well, it's not possible, and the auditing company proved it. So they completed their audit, and it is clearly showing that YouTube is stealing views, not putting the views up there. They are also unsubscribing you people. They are unsubscribing you, and they're also not notifying you of the video uploads and the live streams. That's a fact, because I'm getting so many emails from people telling me that they're not getting the notifications and they've been unsubscribed. One guy told me he was unsubscribed from my YouTube channel 4 times in 1 week. 4 times. Incredible. So they're trying to smash the information. There's no doubt about it. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you, don't rely on the notifications. If you have the time, stop into either the Planet X News channel or the Nibiru channel or even the doctor's channel and check in. If you have to, check in a couple of times a day to see if there's new information. I wish there was another way that I could notify you that would be kind of economical and feasible, but I really don't have that type of technology. So that is one of the biggest reasons why we are going to be moving to the public speaking. These public speaking engagements are not going to be censored. They're not. That's the bottom line. You know, I mean, I did a live stream earlier today because I got a pretty credible and serious death threat from one of these grand solar minimum idiots. I've been getting these types of death threats for like a year. But now, because of major discoveries that we've made, and, you know, the doctor bringing her professionalism and her expertise and her knowledge to the table and not being afraid to speak about it, well, things are intensifying. And they want to spread their disinformation and discredit everything. I mean, now they're running videos right now on YouTube in the troll faction stating that the doctor thinks that the moon is Nibiru. I mean, Jesus God almighty.
It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty stupid, but what do you expect from stupid people? You expect stupid things. But anyways, folks, come back to the channel. Make sure that you have these notifications set up. I mean, YouTube went ahead and reset my YouTube channel to default settings, which showed anybody coming back to my channel, no content, blank, nothing, just my header, just my name, just my avatar, but no content. Yesterday, I had to reset it 2 or 3 times, and then again this morning. So the best thing you can do is take the time, come back over, stop in, see what's happening. And we're going to be running live streams on the Planet X News channel and the Nibiru channel. We're going to be running our live stream reports with the doctor. Okay, because she has done, what is it, doctor, over 150 reports or more than that?
Yes, I've lost count, Scott. I've written so many, and it was fun writing them. And now I'm reviewing them as I'm writing my book, because I actually want to remember everything that I've written. I don't even remember it anymore, but I have so many documents. It's amazing.
Yeah, you've done a tremendous amount of work, and it's
Yes.
greatly appreciated. So
Thank
what we're going to be doing, ladies and gentlemen, is each and every night, 7 days a week, okay, in kind of the downtime, we're going to be rerunning these live stream reports on both channels. And it's going to give everyone an opportunity to listen to what the doctor had to say. As I started this experiment last night, I found that a lot of people were saying exactly what I thought. Wow, I never saw this report. Wow, I never saw this video. So if you happen to, you know, stumble over to the channel, you'll have an opportunity to converse with people in the live chat. And the video, they're usually about 1.5 hours to 2 hours long, our live streams. They're packed full of a bunch of information from the doctor and all of her illustrations and reports and pictures and our findings. Hey, you know, if you've seen it once, hey, sometimes you watch a movie more than once, rehashing some of the information. So if you're wondering why we're doing that, that is the reason why. Because there are tens of thousands of people that did not get the opportunity to see these reports, even though they're listed on my channels as videos. For some reason or another, they were never notified of the live stream. Something occurred. So we're going to be doing that every single day, 7 days a week. These live streams and reruns of her reports will be on both channels. Now, in the very, very near future, I'm going to be adding a 3rd laptop, and this laptop is going to be strictly for live streaming on her channel, the Planet X News channel, and the Nibiru channel. So all 3 of these channels will be live streaming at night, all the way through the night. And I know that we're dealing with different time zones also, so that gives pretty much everybody around the world an opportunity to listen to her reports. And this is something that those other people, they don't want this to happen. But you know what? We're not going to play their game. They're going to play ours. Any last words, Doctor, before we end our live stream?
Well, again, Scott, thank you so much for your help. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And well, I'd like to say that we are going through difficult times, and the times may get more difficult. But as always, I'd like to say that it's time to get to know our Creator, who wants to help every single one of us.
Yes, I agree. I agree. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, everybody needs to have some sort of faith. I mean, if that's all that we end up with is just our faith, I believe that we will be well taken care of in the next life. I'm actually looking forward to it. And, you know, thinking about that death threat that was passed my way, it looks like somebody wants to see me move into that next life a lot quicker. But it's not going to happen. I already know I'm going to live well into my 90s. But anyways, folks, make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back in a little while with the doctor's report on the iceberg, and she has other information that she wants to share with all of you. We thank all of you very, very much for taking the time to stop over and join us in gathering this information and listening to it. This is Scott from Planet X News and the Nibiru channel with our rogue physicist. Thank you for watching. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. It is July 14th, 2017. I'm here with our doctor and physicist. Doctor, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Scott. I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm doing pretty good. Listen, you might need to turn the volume up on your phone or excuse me, on your phone.
Okay.
You know what? Sorry about that. Nope, it was my fault. I had my volume down. You're fine.
Okay.
Yes, I'm doing very well. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, you've probably seen all over YouTube, and as I reported earlier this morning, we're dealing with this oncoming CME, a lot of solar energy. This is the largest CME that we've seen this year. It's the largest CME that we've seen coming towards the Earth in quite a long time. And, you know, going over last week, well, actually this week and last week, talking about this sunspot, AR 2665, you know, once again, the NASA scientists, astronomers, whatever you want to call those boys in blue, you know, they didn't really make a big deal out of this. They just said it was one of the largest sunspots in a while, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know, they downplay all of the activity, and myself and the doctor, well, we were seeing a lot of activity. Yeah. And this was going to be Earth facing. And we were hoping and praying that a CME did not occur while this sunspot was moving past the Earth facing. Well, that didn't occur. And, you know, just not more than maybe several hours ago, I mean, this CME went off. I think in UTC time, I think it was somewhere like around midnight or just before midnight. We have all of the footage for you, and the doctor is going to give you her physicist's thoughts on this CME. And after reviewing some of the material, Doctor, I mean, what do you think about this? It's looking pretty bad.
Yes, I think this was quite an effect that it had on the atmosphere. Already we got hit by the solar radiation, the X-ray, and then we got hit by energetic protons, and that would immediately ionize our ionosphere, and that would create currents in the ionosphere, which will, of course, as I've mentioned before, create certain effects that lead to earthquakes. And that is because these currents will induce other currents inside, well, on the surface of the Earth and inside the Earth. And that of course leads to earthquakes. So I think we are going to get more earthquakes than usual again. And then the CME, of course, happened as a result of the solar flare, and that is still on its way, and it's heading right for Earth. And as we know already that our magnetosphere is under heavy pressure. So when this happens, we can expect more major effects, more earthquakes, more volcanic eruptions, more severe weather. The ionizing of the ionosphere, I think, is getting severe because of what is happening with not only the solar wind, but as you know, the other stellar winds that are hitting our magnetosphere. And so anything else like this kind of CME will have a severe impact on what's happening with our planet. It doesn't mean that we will not survive this. I think we will survive this, but I think we are going to get some severe effects.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, after looking at this early this morning, I thought to myself, wow, you know, I mean, what do you think about the downplaying of some of this? You know, that sunspot was huge. I've been watching it for almost a week now. I mean, several times a day, as much of the data that was coming in, I was watching it. And they kept saying, oh, you know, there's not that much activity, that much activity. And then as it continued to turn Earth facing,
yes,
I mean, I don't know what these boys in blue at NASA and NOAA are looking at, but what I was looking at, I was seeing a lot of activity with that sunspot, and you saw it with your own eyes yourself.
Yes, I mean, even before it turned towards facing Earth, it had an M-class and M1 class flare. So we knew it was capable of M-class flares. So it's not surprising that it had another one, an even stronger one. And of course, that it was Earth-facing is when it happened. But it did happen, and we have been hit by it already. And of course, what happens during this kind of solar flare is energetic protons, that is protons traveling at high speeds, say about 1/3 the speed of light, are accelerated away from the sun, and these particles reach our planet within 30 to 40 minutes. So we already were hit. Then these protons will spiral along the magnetic field lines. They will head towards the polar regions, but a lot of them go right through the magnetopause. They go right through the bow shock. They hit atmospheric particles, and then they ionize the atmosphere. They also are a radiation hazard for people flying in airplanes. So we have that. It can cause DNA damage that can, of course, lead to cancer. So all that is happening and has happened. And of course, when the ionosphere is ionized, the effects last for a long time. It's not just radio blackouts that happens. We have radiation, we have the currents in the ionosphere that will induce other currents on the surface, and it may even affect power grids. So yeah, this is all that's happened. And then, of course, we have the CME, which travels a little slower and will reach Earth 2 to 3, sometimes 4 days later. But this seems to be fast moving. So I think it's 2 days from now it will hit our magnetosphere, and that will again have another strong effect. It will lead to magnetic reconnections, holes in the bow shock that lead to particles entering into the magnetosphere, and it may possibly lead to geomagnetic storms.
I'm just showing everybody kind of a slow motion.
Yes.
As this
it was huge. As you can see, this was a huge CME. If you look at it, it just, we don't see that many with this kind of size.
You know, there's something that I've, noticed twice already. I'm getting a little bit of a background feed. Does anybody hear background echo? Okay, it stopped. Okay. This something shot past here. If you follow my cursor right there, I don't know what that was, but I was just kind of stepping through that.
Yes.
And there was two of them.
Yes, that may be a cosmic ray hitting the satellite.
I'm talking about that long streaking white line. I'm going backwards because I want to see that. Again,
it is strange.
It showed up in two different sequences. Let me see if I can catch it again. It was right before this. No, okay, it was afterwards.
Yes,
it was just went streaking by. Look at that.
That's right. But with this kind of a solar storm in effect, and of course we can always expect some cosmic rays coming from the sun, so we can expect our satellites to be hit in some way or another as well.
Yeah, there seems like so much activity out there.
Yes, most of it is actually debris in the solar system. As you know, I've talked about this before. And the brown dwarf stars that have been coming into the solar system for many years now bring in their own clouds of ionized gas and debris. So it's not surprising that since they head towards the sun, that the inner solar system is so full of this. This is, as you can see, there are huge amounts of debris passing by.
Yeah, there's a couple of pretty big objects out there. I don't know what those objects are identified as. Yeah, you have a large object here. I don't know what this is. This could be, I don't know, planet Jupiter. I don't know what it is. It's not identified.
No, I don't think it's a planet. I think it's part of the debris field that has come with these objects. And
there's so much going on. I mean, look at that. There's just stuff flying everywhere.
Yes, indeed. And we can see that. And
I'm going to slow this down a little bit for you want to see this actually taking place.
Yeah, there goes the CME again. It's not as dramatic. Yeah, there we are. It's more dramatic on the LASCO, I think. C2. Yeah, but we can still see it here.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move over to.
Oh, there we are again. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to move over to the predictor model. And
yes, we have an increase expected on the 16th of both plasma density and radial velocity. And that's the CME impacting the magnetosphere. But this is a very large CME, and that is quite an increase in density that we have there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot there. I'll tell you, that's
oh yes, that's high density impact.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop this here, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my cursor. And folks, if you follow me right up here, you're going to go ahead and see. We're going to try to get the exact timing. So we're looking at pretty close to the end of the 16th. And again, this is all in UTC time, so you can go ahead and try to calculate that. I hate that UTC time. But anyways, you can see, following my cursor here, that's very intense.
Yeah, it is very intense. We should remember that the round signet is as if we were looking from above the sun. So it's a horizontal cut through the solar system. And then the triangular one, or the arc-shaped one, is the vertical cut. So, and the yellow sphere is the Earth, of course, and we can see that high density of the CME is heading straight for Earth and will impact it then.
Okay, yeah, the little green one is the Earth, the little yellow one is our sun.
Oh, yes, okay.
If you take a look over here, I mean, you can see the vastness.
It's huge. This was a huge CME.
Wow. Now we see this plasma density increase, directly, almost directly on the 17th, midnight UTC time. This plasma density goes through the roof. Also, the radial velocity has a pretty good spike, kind of levels off. It's a little bit of a bumpy road, but you know, this radial velocity, you know, we're really not too worried about that. But this plasma density going right through the roof, right through. I mean, right on the 17th at midnight UTC. Oh, so that is, well, that's about 11. It's about 11 p.m., 12 a.m. on the 17th. So what that makes it on the East Coast of the United States about 6 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, I think that's about right.
Midnight. Well, we are on say New York time is 4 hours before UTC, minus 4 hours. So that would actually be on the 16th at 20 hours, which is 8 o'clock.
Oh, so we're behind in UTC. I never that UTC. It gets me all confused.
We are behind. It's minus 4 hours. So this will hit us on the 16th in the evening, about 8 o'clock.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you live, whatever state, whatever country.
Yeah, it's minus 4 hours. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I also get confused with the time zone.
You're still getting adjusted to your time zone here.
I'm still getting confused. So yeah, UTC. So at UTC at midnight. Yeah. So we are. No. So it will actually hit us later. Sorry, my thinking
about 6 a.m.
Yes,
like that.
So it will hit us on the 17th, 4 hours later. So it will be about 4 a.m.
Yeah, and that the solar wind predictor has a little plus or minus of several hours. It's usually not dead on. Now we're actually looking at the CME tracker, and once again, you're going to see the Earth is in yellow. You can see the little schedule up here: Earth, Mars, Mercury, Venus, and some of the satellites up here, Stereo A and B and Spitzer. You can see the Earth right here. And I'll tell you the truth, you know, we are only catching about the tail end of one side. Could you imagine if that would have exploded just a few hours earlier?
Yeah.
We'd have been in some serious trouble.
Yeah, that's right. So
I mean, you could see the expansion of this CME, the expansion of the energy as it passes by. I mean, that's going to be directly, hitting Venus. Pretty much. I think Venus is probably going to get a harder hit than we will. But,
yes, definitely, it will hit the green planet. That's Venus.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, folks. And you know, once again, you know, we try to make all of these observations. You know, with our research into Planet X, you know, we take a look at everything. We have to. We know that this brown dwarf or these brown dwarf stars, we know that they are affecting the sun. We know for a fact that, you know, there are the cover-ups. They don't want you to know this information about what is lurking within our inner solar system and what is causing these issues. Think back last year. Think back the year before. If you were following any of this information, you know, we really weren't dealing that much with some of these current situations. Yes, last year we did have some earthquakes. We did have a lot of issues going on with the sun. But as I've mentioned, again, going through the winter, everything that we were looking at, it was telling us that this upcoming spring, this upcoming summer in the Northern Hemisphere, it was going to begin slowly. And then the trying times were going to occur right after May. And it seems that everything is holding true. And again, I think that we are only in the beginning stages of what we're about to see. And with this solar energy coming our way, and set to impact on or about the 17th of July, there is a very high possibility that we may have multiple catastrophic earthquakes and possibly even some catastrophic volcanic eruptions. There's no doubt about it. I mean, what do you think about that, Doctor?
Oh, definitely. As I said before, we definitely are going to have some catastrophic events happening. We already have increased earthquakes, but Scott, I'd just like to go back to the time zone. What I said at first was correct. So we're 4 hours behind.
Oh, okay.
So that means it will actually hit us. Our time will be 8 o'clock on the 16th.
That's the East Coast time.
That's right. That's East Coast.
Yeah, that UTC time, man, it gets me so confused.
Yeah, it confuses me too, especially since I used to be in South Africa and I had to work with your time.
Yeah, you were 6 hours ahead of me every day, and yeah, that was.
That's right.
I'm glad you're back in my time zone over here.
Yes, that's right.
That's definitely helping me.
Yeah, it helps to think that this is London time, which is 4 hours ahead of us here. That's right. That's East Coast. UTC time is London time.
Oh, so that's who controls UTC time, the British.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now we're looking at the GOES 13 proton flux. This is between July 12th, or it begins on July 12th. And
that's right.
I mean, we can see, and it does take a lot for this to register some anomalies, some energy. And as we see right here, moving just a little past the 14th, we see a massive fluctuation.
That's right. That's right. So this what happened was the X-ray flare led to an acceleration of protons, solar protons. And as we know, the surface of the sun is mainly made up of protons. So these protons were accelerated from the solar surface at extremely high speeds, say about 1/3 the speed of light, which is about 6. That's right. That's right. So this what happened was the X-ray flare led to an acceleration of protons, solar protons. And as we know, the surface of the sun is mainly made up of protons. So these protons were accelerated from the solar surface at extremely high speeds, say about 1/3 the speed of light, which is about 6.
Dear God. Well, that was directly at Stereo B, which NASA says they lost communications with, and it's not working. That's what looks gives us views from the backside of the sun, and that was dead bullseye on that craft. Venus is your little green circle right here. At Stereo B, which NASA it just missed Venus. Communications with Mars, we have over here. So really none of the planets were actually from the backside of the sun facing it, but if you look at the way the sun rotates, whipping around, it will impact Mars. Venus is your little
I think what we saw on LASCO, on the SOHO spacecraft images, indicated that there was more than just this little CME happening on the sun.
Yeah, it looked like there were 3.
Yeah, I think this does not show exactly everything that went on there.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the...
That's a huge, regardless, it's just that's got to be the biggest one I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's up there in my book too, brother.
Yes,
I agree. I've seen some big ones, you know, burst off of the sun like that, but I've never seen something like that, 3 simultaneously back to back. Let's see what the solar wind predictor model has. Maybe they've updated it. It's stretching out all the way through July 28th. So let's just take a look.
No, I don't see that they have put the result of the CME on here.
Not even on there.
No.
My God.
No, they haven't.
Now, right down here, folks, follow my cursor at the lower bottom. This disc here, this is going to show you the uptick in the radial velocity, the solar wind that we are stretching into as we speak. And we're going to be in that solar wind for many, many days. And as you can see, this bright orange coming upon us going into the 27th. And then, you know, this velocity is going to increase. As you can see the line right here following my cursor, this is a predictor model. So this changes. This has our solar wind going up towards 600 kilometers per second, but I already checked this morning and it was very, very close to 800, 850.
I'll just be 1 second, guys. I'm just going to get a drink of water.
Sure, sure. Okay, so this model is not up to date. We're going to go check the X-ray at NOAA and see what we come up with here.
Yes.
Oh
my goodness.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
You see why we're getting impacted by almost constant fast solar wind and cosmic radiation.
Look at the entire top of the sun.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Look at this. I once said it looks like the sun is turning into one big coronal hole. And here I see that exactly happening. At least in terms of X-rays, this is what's happening to the sun.
You can see the coronal surface over here to the left is starting to dissipate greatly.
Yes.
All the way through the southern region, right at the equatorial line. It's going.
It's just opening up. And that shows you that the corona is getting less dense. And of course, that allows these high energy particles to escape.
Wow. Well, we could definitely be looking forward to, some power outages, probably worldwide, geomagnetic storms increasing, definitely problems with your internet, cell phones, electrical devices, things of that nature, GPS. This will probably all start to occur, within the next 24 to 48 hours. Earthquake activity, well, you can guarantee that's going to be on the rise as soon as some of that reaches the Earth. If it does, depending on the time frame of it reaching the core of our planet, that's just going to be a bad scene.
Mm.
You know, and I can't help myself but to say, you know, look, we've been telling everybody that this is occurring, and you have all of these people out there that call you a liar and a criminal, and, you know, you're just in this for YouTube views and blah, 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 blah. Well, look, people, they're crushing my views, and I don't care about YouTube views. What we want to do is we want to inform people on what is happening. And this is what's happening. You know, it's Sunday morning. You know, I mean, other places in the world, it's, you know, afternoon and evening, but look at what is happening. Truly amazing.
It is, Scott. This is, I mean, I have been saying this for many months now, that the size of the coronal holes were increasing. And now I actually see it dramatically increasing, and I see the effects on the magnetosphere. And I am astounded sometimes by the degree to which it has increased. It has increased slowly, but it's a sustained increase, and it keeps on increasing. And this is not the end. It will keep on increasing.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we're, like I said yesterday when I was doing a live stream in the evening, just wanted to let everybody know that this is just the beginning. You know, that's exactly where we're at. We're in the beginning of this. We're going to take a quick look at, let's see what we can find as far as our magnetosphere and magnetopause. Let's see if anything is actually occurring. We're just seeing some slight fluctuations, but nothing major. I'll take a look. Magnetosphere.
It's possible that they haven't updated the model, because the data they put in was for one small CME that's not Earth facing. And that's not actually what we had happen. So basically the models will be skewed because of the data they're inputting into them.
Yeah, they are. They actually are. I mean, we were right on top of this situation. I mean,
yes.
I wish you can see the solar wind is increasing pretty close
yes.
to 720 kilometers per second. This will probably increase a lot more, even though it's showing, you know, moderate plasma density here, moderate density. But we're not seeing too much of a reversal.
No, we're not. I think that this model is now not reflecting what's actually happening to our magnetosphere, if you know what I mean. They have changed the data that they are putting in does not reflect the reality of what we have happening.
Yeah, because if you look at the time frame up here, that event occurred just around midnight UTC time. This is only stretching out to 20 minutes after 12 UTC time. So these satellites probably did not pick this up yet, even though that event was hours and hours long. It's still not picking up. Nothing is updated yet.
We could see it on the visual detectors of SDO. So these satellites should have picked it up. So I would say that it requires human input not to have the data showing on these models.
Yeah, we're just taking a look at the radiation influx. Nothing's updated.
No, it wouldn't be.
This cuts off right before midnight, 11:58 p.m. UTC time.
Yeah, well, that would be 6 a.m. for us.
Okay, man, nothing is updated. Nothing at all is updated. It's a pretty devastating image that we have here.
Yeah, well, this is core 2. Yeah, this is, sorry, this is not, this is actually the Stereo A spacecraft that is seeing the CME. And as you know, it is close to Mars. Sorry, I thought for a moment I was looking at the SDO. So perhaps this is why. This is the Core 2, this is Stereo A looking at what happened, and Stereo A is close to Mars. So this is why it looks like it's facing Mars here. Yeah. Whilst the SOHO, the C2, but it was even more dramatic on the SOHO, and that one is looking as if we are looking from Earth, and it looked even more dramatic there. So there is really no excuse. Although the SDO is closer to Earth because it's in a geosynchronous orbit, whilst the L1 position is further out.
Boy,
that's where SOHO is.
Yeah, that is just, I'm almost at a loss for words. That is one hell of an explosion.
It was indeed. And you can see that the sun looks very active because it's in a geosynchronous, because of all these CMEs all around.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not seeing this either on the SDO. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to pull it up real quick and see if anything has changed. It's going to be a pretty intense situation.
Yeah. Also, I believe that when the sun does something like this, it's reacting to something. The sun is not just doing things with no reason. And remember, Carlos Ferrada also believed that. He studied the sun to see the effect of other stars on it, and that's how he made a lot of his observations. Also, I believe that when the sun does something like this,
okay, I don't think this 48-hour loop is going to show it.
The sun is not
23rd.
Doing things with no reason. And remember, Carlos Ferrada also believed
no, it's current.
Yes, it is. Sun to see the effect of other stars on it, and that's how
we're not seeing it from.
Yeah, because this view shows doesn't show much of the corona. So the 211 will show the corona a bit better. But these CMEs will not necessarily emit the kind of ultraviolet light. They are mainly X-rays and visible light. Well, not even much visible light. So
if you pay very, very close attention to this region of the corona right here, you're going to see the disturbance. You're going to see that little fluctuation right there.
Yes.
Corona.
Yes, that would be the solar flares coming out of different sunspots. We do see it, yeah.
Yeah, and right up here, folks, you can see a couple of the coronal cavity prominences. They're forming right here where my cursor is. There's one there, and there is one there. Those are coronal cavity prominences right there and right there.
Scott, can you go back to the SOHO image?
The SOHO? Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, can you go back to SOHO? Is there any way you can play it slowly?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, look at this.
This one doesn't show it as good as the other one, though, does it?
Well, this is
there it is, the major one.
Can you take that back again, Scott?
Yep.
Just take it back a bit.
My goodness.
Look at that. That just
Can you go?
encompasses like 90% of the sun.
That's right.
Can you go back just a fraction more? Okay, that's what I was after. Thought so.
Yeah, there had to be some type of big interaction with the sun in
That's
order
right.
in order for this to occur like this. This was just tremendous. And you know, we've been making the discoveries, showing everyone that these objects are definitely, you know, in some type of orbit around the sun.
Yes.
Are they getting much closer? The interaction getting much more damaging.
Yeah. And of course, there are lots of them inside the sun's corona itself, as we have found recently. And they're not just in the sun's corona, they're outside the sun's corona in the inner solar system. So basically, they're everywhere around the sun.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and step forward.
Mm-hmm.
We'll watch this as it occurs.
Yes, as you can see, yeah, it's in every direction, just about, as you said, about 90%.
Yeah, so as this view is here, we're looking at about the 2 o'clock position for this explosion. And then
wow,
you start to see over here, that would be what about the 8 o'clock or excuse me, 10 o'clock position over here. But then it just reverberates this massive wave under.
Yes.
Jesus. Look at that.
It's just unbelievable, this kind of explosion. And people are saying that we are going towards solar minimum, and yet the sun is capable of this kind of explosion. It's obviously that's interacting with objects.
This is the speed that I need now, Scott. If you could go back to the beginning of it.
Okay.
That'd be good for me. Now, if you just go one forward. Another one. Okay, see that there? That's what I'm looking for. Hang on, don't move it.
I see a dark stripe inside the beginning of the CME eruption.
Where my cursor is?
Uh-huh.
Let me blow that up.
Just 1 second. Ah, oh, shit, is that the wrong one? Let me go back to where you are. Hang on a second, Scott. Can you just take it up again so I can screen?
Oh my goodness, I see more than that there.
Okay, just place it there. You haven't shifted it, have you, from the last one?
No,
okay.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of a delay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my God. Am I looking at the right image? It's there, all right?
Uh-huh. You see the object.
So are you guys looking at my screen or am I looking at yours?
I don't think we're looking at yours, Alan.
Okay, just give me 2 seconds. No, okay, you didn't do anything. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Pete from over in the UK from WDH Company just dropped a few comments in the chat. I just saw him there, Pete. If you're still listening or still watching, he mentioned about running his video on I don't know if he's referring to a video that he just uploaded to YouTube, because he's about 5-6 hours ahead of me.
I'm just trying to bring this object out so you can see it. There you go.
Yeah, Pete's a good guy. He has good, fantastic YouTube channel. If any of you are not subscribed to Pete's channel, click on his avatar icon and go to his channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed to his channel also, because he has a lot of incredible information. Pete's been on this subject for years.
Literally.
Yeah.
And as you know, Scott, we talked to him, you know, he's in the email chain that we have, hasn't he? So,
yeah.
Okay. I'm almost there, I reckon. I'm just going to try and save that. Oh, did I already save it?
It definitely looks like there's some objects floating around there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's a little hard to dissect this, ladies and gentlemen, the way that we do whenever we're live. You know, taking a look at these photographs and changing some of the contrast and some of the coloring to bring out other objects that may be hidden. Prep Aussie's just he's fantastic. You guys really need to subscribe to his channel, because he uncovers a lot of things in other people's photographs that they didn't even know were there.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that's truly an art right there. I want to go ahead and just go one more frame and just see.
Okay. Just go one more.
One more. Boy, that is just wicked.
Right. Okay. Now, if you noticed, get rid of that. Obviously, when this explosion occurs, it's going to highlight, you know, relevant stars that are close, like all around it. It'll bring them, the flash effect will show them up more in the resonance. Jeez. But those ones there, they're not supposed to be there.
Uh-huh.
They're too close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there that
You see that cluster, the cluster on the right-hand side?
Mm-hmm.
Look around the sun. You don't see any other cluster except and where that explosion occurs.
Yes.
And look, I'm definitely sure it's there. I'm just mucking around with this image. Hang on a sec.
Yes, we shouldn't be able to see those
No.
if they were background stars. So they would have to be closer to the detector than a lot closer.
And
Yeah.
there she blows. And there she blows.
Mm.
There it is. Okay. You guys are going to go, no way.
Mm-hmm.
do you want to share your screen, Prep?
1 second. Yeah, 1 second. Just don't forget, like Claudia just said, the mass C will be showing up when we get a massive CME.
Mm.
Because effectively, you can't see a dead star or a brown dwarf. You can't physically see it, even when it's next to the sun, it would only be illuminated.
Think I just spotted it. I'm going to have to carefully try to.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to shrink this down so I can use the controls. I think I see it.
This is in the core too.
Yeah, I'm going to have to slow this down. I'm going to have to step this as soon as I see it.
Well, I've already done it. You can have a look at this in a sec.
Wow.
Okay, I think I just saw it. Let me just.
And there's probably more than one.
There is. There's.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, hold
Yes.
on one second. Just let me. There it is. Bam! Right there, right where my damn cursor is.
And that's one of them.
Hold on, I'm blowing that up.
No, don't do that. Here, look at this. Look at mine first.
Okay, hold on.
Feels like a scene out of Jaws, isn't it? Look at my scar.
Yeah, there's an object right there. Right there. It's pixelized. It's pixelized because of the blast, as it's affecting the camera, because you're already seeing the images pixelizing. Let me get out of here real quick.
Well, I thought that might be one there because part of the CME was definitely in that direction, part of the larger CME.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Let me get back over here.
But they're probably more on the right-hand side.
Okay.
You guys,
all right.
Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for?
Yes, Alan.
Just click on the actual photograph that you want to share.
Can you see my screen now? Can you?
You'll have to click on that photograph that you have pulled up. There you go.
Yes.
Can you see that?
You've already
Yes.
added your color to it.
I can see that.
Oh,
that.
my.
Oh,
Looky
yes.
there. Looky what we got there.
Oh, my goodness. So that's why
Now-
we had those dark shadows there.
Now there's one there.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually see how most of the stars around, they're usually spasmodic. They don't usually come around in clusters. So there's this one here.
No.
There's another one right in front of it with a smaller one. Can you see that?
Yes.
Son of a.
Yes, and as you can see, they do cluster. That's what we've been saying.
Oh, that's even better. The way you have that blown up there, that looks real good.
That's one there. That's one there. So there's two right there, and there's another one just here.
Yes.
Easily. I just can't. I haven't got control of the screen enough to do it. So, but you can clearly see it there.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Man, I'm ready for a drink. It's only 9:23 in the morning on a Sunday.
Well, when are people going to start actually waking up?
Yep.
Yes, that's right. This should be worldwide news.
What I'm about to say is in regards to manipulation, before anyone writes into Scott or anyone else saying he manipulated the image, blah, 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 blah. I did not. I don't manipulate the image, for want of a better term. All I'm doing is actually transferring the color spectrum. Not transferring it, but just changing the color spectrum, because like an X-ray, different things will show up under different highlights, if you know what I mean, like a stronger bandwidth, for example, of light and color.
Yes.
Air, sound, they're all the same. So the reason why there's such a big CME is because of the fact that that thing there with this thing here and the other ones down here, it's like you said, Claudia, is sucking the lifeblood out of the sun. So
that's right.
There you go. That's black and white. Black and white doesn't lie.
Yeah, it looks good. Hey, everybody, real quick, I'm going to put the link to Prep Aussie's YouTube channel in the live chat. I'm going to put that link in there. Take a few minutes real quick, click on the link, go to his channel, subscribe, set your notifications up, because he's going to be uploading more of his material each and every day. The man does a fantastic job at bringing out these objects. I mean, he just has a talent for it. That's what we need. You know, I mean, listen, we all have our own talents, but blending our talents together will definitely bring more truth out. Wow, look at that.
You know what I see here is that these objects are actually destabilizing the sun and affecting its ability to hold on to its own plasma. That's basically what they are doing. So they are actually provoking these CMEs out of the sun. It's unbelievable. But that's to be expected. They are very dense objects with extremely high magnetic fields, higher than the sun's own magnetic field. So this is how they absorb the energy from the sun, through these magnetic connections. And they are clustering around the sun. So there are so many of them now. So this would be the effect that we would expect to get. It's amazing. And as you can see, extremely dangerous for our planet.
You know, one of the subscribers had a question in the chat, and they wanted to know how these CMEs are affecting these objects. I mean, I would just have to say they are feeding off of it, and they are creating it. They are creating the situation. Yes. But go ahead, Doc, explain some of that if you could.
Well, don't forget, these objects are stars. They are cores of what's left of what was once a main sequence star. There is a core on the inside of the sun as well, which is at the moment building up and increasing in size. These stars, they increased their cores to the maximum that they could, and then they aged and they grew dark, but they can operate as stars. They are basically stars. So they want to be, well, they don't have a will, but they are comfortable in this sort of environment, in a plasma environment. In fact, they are, because of their high magnetic fields, drawing plasma to them. White dwarf stars are known to do this, to draw plasma from main sequence stars. These objects have gone through the white dwarf phase and retained some of the characteristics of white dwarf stars. They are drawing plasma to them. And they are able to rejuvenate because of that, because they then increase their gaseous envelope. They start being able to ionize their own gaseous cloud. They start being able to emit radiation from the gaseous cloud, and eventually their electric potential energy reaches to such a level that they start having fusion reactions from the surface. This is what stars are doing. From observing these stars, this is how I built up these ideas about what these stellar remnants, I like to call them stellar remnants now and then, but they are basically what is left of a star that was once a main sequence star like our sun. And a lot of them may have been a lot larger than our sun is at one time.
This is amazing. Hey, folks, real quick, I want to just throw this out there because you know how much I hate YouTube trolls. But now all of a sudden I'm getting notifications that all of these idiots, such as this one bozo, Robert Lockwood, who claims that the images that we showed the other day from the Japanese satellite was grease. Grease on the lens. Now this idiot is uploading a video, and he's now reporting Soho, Lasco, C2 images show a full halo CME, July 23rd, 2017. Yes. Well, maybe this bozo will wake the hell up and stop trying to debunk what is actually happening, because he's very unskilled. He's one of Dazza the cameraman's stupid little cronies. So Robert Lockwood, if you're listening to me, if that's even your real name, wake up, smell the coffee, buddy, because this is what's happening. You want to report on both. You want to debunk and you want to report on what is happening. Real live events. Buddy, you better wake up, clean the crap out of your diaper, step up to the plate, and join the people who are really telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Not your fake friends
Yes.
on YouTube that you don't even know personally. Give me a break. Somebody stop me before I keep going.
Yeah, well, Scott, don't forget that the images were only a few seconds apart, which indicated that the operators actually wanted to take specific pictures of these objects as they approached the sun, as they got to the sun. So that was what was indicated. So I don't think spacecraft operators would want to see grease spots moving across a lens.
Space grease.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Maybe there's a grease monkey up there fixing it.
Yeah, maybe they got those cosmonauts or somebody out there, and yeah, they got a little grease on the lens, and yeah, blah blah blah.
Look, you know, I don't get into that crap. I just, you know, look, at the end of the day, it's bloody pointless breath, you know.
Yeah.
When
they are paid to do it.
Well, you see the, you know, the writings on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know exactly what Pete WDHCo is talking about, Scott.
Oh yeah, Pete's a good guy, man.
Because he did a video last week, and I did a video on it. You know, I did a video, my first video back. I showed this image that was on his actual camera. It was on an image of one of his CMEs that he showed from last week. And I pointed out to him that this was there. You weren't in the email chain because I didn't have your email at the time, Scott. But I'll actually show you that picture now if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys go ahead and view that. I have to make a little pit stop real quick because that coffee and that Red Bull I drank, it's going right through me and I'm getting more and more fired up. But definitely I want to see, Prep has a lot to share with us right now because he did some work on some photographs and imaging, but this is going to be good. So pay attention, folks.
This is the image that Peter was talking about. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it, Alan.
It's exactly the same.
Oh my goodness, yes, I can see it there.
So I did this video.
So it was there last week and it's still there now.
Now, there was some conjecture amongst the email group that we've got going. Of whether it was real or not. Now, I did every single test on it, gamma tests, inverted it, and it's not a prominence. You see that line that comes out and goes up?
Yes.
It does actually look like a prominence. But the weird thing is if I go back to Scott's image,
yes,
like you just pointed out a second ago, that's it there.
Oh, yes.
You know, you said about that. So in actual fact, this image here that I'm showing here is not, the one I was actually trying to find was this one here, which was just there, but I couldn't get it out because I haven't got access to the full, if it's very technical, you've got to go technical. It's not technical. It's very time consuming. You've got to go through each, you've got to actually sit here and press every single second of the frame to try and get the right picture. So it took me over an hour to get that sequence out of Peter's. I could see it straight away, but it took me over an hour of sitting there pressing 1 second per image, if you know what I mean.
Yes, to just pick it out so you could highlight it.
But it's very ironic now. Where is it?
Well, this corroborates what you saw last week then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Sure.
You can definitely see it.
Yes. And these are large objects. The ones in the corona are smaller, it seems. Well, these ones also will go to the corona now and then, I think. But
Claudia, on this one, this is
yeah.
the one that I wanted to show you, I think.
Yes.
If you actually look at the image, there's one there. There's one here.
Oh,
there's
yes.
one there. There's another one there.
Oh my goodness.
And look, yeah, that's not prominence. Prominence goes from the sun out, not from this up. So it can't be prominence.
I see, yeah. My, oh
and
my.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that I pointed out to everybody when they said, you know, they came back and said, well, in actual fact, the function of this machine, this here, is not to really take images. It's a digital, Strop told me the name for it.
A chronograph, sorry.
It's not a camera. It's not a camera in the true sense of the word. So what you're capturing is, you know, it's split-second timing sort of a thing digitally.
Yes.
Now, the amazing thing here is if you actually look at this picture, if you follow the circumference of this image around, you realize something straight away. This thing here is actually sitting over the circumference, which means that this is only been highlighted because of the massive CME that blew up here. So it was like, for want of a better term, it was like having a flash on a camera. And the flash, that's why the back of this is kind of not that bright, but the other side, this side of it is, because the flash was out this way. That's why the arrow's there, because Pete's saying, have a look at this CME. Well, the other amazing thing is, if you look closely at this, what is this thing, oscillator or whatever?
The occulter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, I'm not a bloody astronomer. I don't get any joy out of it at all. If you have a close look at this, and it's going, you can actually see the circumference comes through it, so that this is actually going over it.
Yes, I see
that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Right. Well, if you draw your attention to the other objects.
Oh my goodness. Oh, they are actually there. All there. You can actually see them.
1, 2,
because the
3,
occulter
4,
is added digitally. I see 5. What you mean.
Now, if I take it down, it probably shows you even better.
Wow.
They're all there.
Oh my goodness. That means on the core 1 images, we'll be able to pick them out as well. I've often thought, what is this on the core 1 images?
And folks, it wasn't put there by a grease monkey.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
As much as you'd like it to be.
That is quite a revelation. That's unbelievable.
Now, I think, I'll go back a second. I think the red images, no, it wasn't the red images. As I said, you can't see them. You can't see these because the light, once you change the light spectrum.
Yes.
And, you know, you darken the screen or whatever you do to it. You don't put the image there. The image is actually there already. one of these shows it better. You can sort of see it there. There's another one there, another one there, two up here, another one there. And I've been saying for a long, long time that we're not looking at one, same as yourself, Claudia, we're not looking at one one image, one planet.
Yeah, well,
There's
one object. There
one
are
object.
many. Yes.
See how that's illuminated?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this, I've always said that there's something at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something at 11 and something at 6.
Mm.
And I believe this has actually moved since then. So this was down here, there's always been a big cluster, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, there has to be something where we get these coronal holes that do not ever go away. They're always there.
Yep.
So permanent coronal holes, yeah.
Even when this was inverted, this is inverted.
Oh, yes. Look at that.
You can still see it on the side there, but you can also see, vaguely see, the ones that I was pointing out before in the oscillator.
Yes. Oh, my.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yes, I see that. Wow.
That is not a gas cloud.
Yes, it's circular, so it has to be an object. Oh my
That's
goodness.
definitely, that's moving closer towards the occulter, the camera.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can actually see them superimposed on the occulter.
Now, if I do that, I think this is the one that I was talking about. If I do that, then you can see these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They are right on this, almost at the, or on the surface of the sun. They are in the inner corona, like we saw these other objects on the Hinode satellite data. It's unbelievable. There's so many of them. Well, I thought there would be a lot of them. I mean, I saw a lot on the Hinode data. So this is amazing.
This is sorry, Scott, I'm kind of taking over here a bit.
No. This is what you're here for, buddy. You've got the great information.
It's kind of relevant. It's very relevant because yesterday, on the 21st, I'll go through this so everyone understands what I'm saying.
Yes.
On the 21st of this month, now I'm hoping that I'll just bring this up and everybody can see it straight away. And also promoting his channel because he's a great guy. This is Seven Spalding, who, unlike myself, is proactive and gets his ass out doors every day. Winter, stands out in the rain and winter and snow and crap, you know, and everything else. Whereas I just stand here on a computer, sit here on a computer, and he's really doing the work. And this is what he filmed, video, folks. And I have no qualms saying this. This video is the best video ever done on this subject. And the weird thing about it is, Seven didn't even know he was filming this. But can you see that there?
Yes.
And another planet there?
Yes. Oh.
And this is the sun.
Yes.
And there's another planet there.
Oh my goodness.
Folks, this video goes for 9 minutes, 22 seconds. And I reckon anybody, you get anybody that you know is a complete disbeliever, and at the end of this video, they will be literally standing there going, oh my God.
Yes.
Why get your eyes checked the old-fashioned way? When lens crafters can digitally
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. It is July 23rd, 2017. And this morning I am joined with our physicist, Dr. Albers. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you, Scott. And how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to be joined with Prep Aussie down in Australia.
At it.
But this was absolutely incredible.
Huge.
Yeah, this was an incredible CME. I mean, this has to be one of the largest that I've seen in a long time. We're talking going back years. Now, also, ladies and gentlemen, one of our subscribers in the live chat now, Into Thin Air. If you see him in the live chat right there, you can click on his icon. He has some pretty good video footage he uploaded. This is just absolutely, it's amazing to watch. But folks, you have to understand something. This type of situation is highly dangerous to our planet. You know, I've mentioned in the past about a kill shot. This is what Major Ed Dames was referring to. This Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. It is July 23rd, 2017. And this morning I am joined with our physicist, Dr. Albers. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you, Scott. And how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to be joined with Prep Aussie down in Australia. And apparently, right when we were beginning the live broadcast, I'm not sure if he had an internet problem or what, but hopefully he will be back in here with us. Now, a lot of people thought that YouTube shut his channel down, and I'm just going to go ahead and share my channel, or my, share my channel. I'm going to share my page with you real quick and my view. And his channel is back up. Now, I'm asking everyone to definitely go to his YouTube channel and subscribe, and make sure you guys are setting your notifications. Now, let's just get a quick update with this notification situation, because when YouTube changed this, it screwed up everything. It set everybody back to default settings. So when you click on that little black bell, make sure you are check marking this box that says, send me all notifications for this channel. And then click save. And then you will get your notifications, hopefully. Now, I'm going to include a link for Prep's new channel. Now, he's going to be uploading a tremendous amount of information and his videos that were on his old channel. Now, once again, YouTube did not shut him down. Okay, there were some issues with his channel, and I'll let him get into all of that. But, you know, it was really no big deal. But he started a new channel, and we want to help him build his subscriber base, because this man just has a very acute eye for picking things out in photographs and video. Now, hold on one second for me. Just want to go ahead and get our live stream chat set up. Now, folks, just a little while ago, there was a massive CME explosion on the sun. And I'm going to get right to this, because this was one of the biggest CMEs that I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, it was not Earth facing. I'm going to get right into it. Bring this up full screen. And what we're looking at the Stereo Ahead Core 2. And this is dated for today, July 23rd, 2017. And we're going to take another view at the CME, but this was,
Wow.
yes, this was a double, possibly even triple explosion. And folks, I'm seriously thinking that this had something to do with the sunspot that we were tracking for a while, AR 2665. The same sunspot that spaceweather.com and NOAA and NASA didn't think anything of. They were constantly saying that there's no issue, there's no issue, there's no issue. And then, bingo, we have a massive coronal ejection that wreaked havoc on our planet. Now, looking at your screen, look at what has just happened this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a critical coronal mass ejection. Doctor, what are your views on this right now?
Yes, it's huge. And I was just looking at it, and it's very interesting that it's along the same direction where we see these what seems to be dark jets coming from the sun. And I believe these dark jets are particle flux transfers between the sun and some of these objects that are close to it. And you can see the sun is actually having CMEs in about the same direction. And that makes me believe that possibly it has something to do with these objects being so close to the sun.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah, the sun has been known to have CMEs in the direction of comets. So these objects are larger and more irritating perhaps to the sun than comets. They are denser, they have high magnetic fields, and there are particle flux transfers. That's what these dark jets, I believe that's what they are. The sun is connecting magnetically to these objects, and then they exchange particles.
Now, doctor, let me ask you something. What is the what's the time frame on this the photon burst coming, impacting our planet? Because even though this wasn't Earth facing, this is a tremendous amount of energy.
Yes, of course there will be solar flares, and the solar flares will go everywhere in every kind of direction. So we will get impacted by these photons, basically this radiation. And as you know, there are cosmic rays coming out of the coronal holes, and there's a burst of cosmic rays every time there is one of these huge explosions as well. So basically the Earth is being impacted by these high energy particles, and they impact our planet within 30 or 40 minutes of such an explosion. And that makes me although this was not quite Earth-facing, which is a good thing, the impact will not be major, therefore. But there's always an impact, and there are always particles coming out of these coronal holes nowadays, because the sun is basically has a coronal holes at the North and the South Pole, and these are permanent. So we are getting impacted by cosmic radiation, high energy particles all the time. They are denser, plus these objects have now rejuvenated to the point that they have their own stellar winds, and these are impacting the Earth's atmosphere as well. And so the impact on our magnetosphere is increasing all the time.
Yeah, this was an absolutely incredible. Yeah, this was an incredible CME. I mean, this has to be one of the largest that I've seen in a long time. We're talking going back, years. Now, also, ladies and gentlemen, one of our subscribers in the live chat now, Into Thin Air. If you see him in the live chat right there, you can click on his icon. He has some pretty good video footage he uploaded. This is just absolutely, it's amazing to watch. But folks, you have to understand something. This type of situation is highly dangerous to our planet. I've mentioned in the past
and there's
about
burst
a
of
kill
cosmic
shot.
rays every time there
This is
is
what
one of
Major
these
Ed
huge
Dames was
explosions as
referring
well.
to.
So
This
basically,
type
the Earth
of
is being impacted
action on
by
our
these
sun,
high
this
energy
is
particles,
deadly.
and the impact
If
our
we
planet
would have been
within
Earth
30 or
facing
40 minutes of such an
when this
explosion.
happened, this is like a double, triple
Although this
explosion
was
coming
not
from
quite
different areas of the
Earth-facing, which is a
sun
good thing, the
almost
impact
at the
will
same
not
time.
be
Now, remember
major,
what you're looking
therefore.
at
But
here
there's always an impact,
is
and
in
there are
time
always
lapse.
particles
I've
coming
slowed
out
it
of these
down
corona holes
considerably,
nowadays,
but
because the
this
sun
event went
is
on for quite
basically
some
has a
time.
corona